Good morning and welcome. Welcome to this morning to our All Souls service, a time to remember all who are still with us in our hearts, although they may have left the earthly plane. This is a good time to silence your cell phone. It is also a time to greet your neighbors, to greet one another. And as you do, please share those beloveds who are in your hearts and with you in your memory right now. Please share them as you greet and acknowledge the beloveds of the people nearby you as well.
For our chalice lighting today, this is from a poem by Florence Caplow called All Souls Chalice Lighting. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us.
Have you noticed all the decorations around town? Lately, I've seen a lot of skeletons. You've seen some skeletons? Yeah. Sometimes they are posed to look kind of scary, like there's some ones that are dancing in windows at night on Broad Street in Nevada City, across from the theater, that are amazing. And a lot of times, though, they're posed like just doing normal stuff, like gardening or walking a dog or even driving a car, just like live people do, but they're just bones. These decorations are a way to have fun with big stuff that might otherwise make us sad or scared. They remind us that death is a part of life. And for many, many people all around the world, this time of year is when they honor their dead. As the days are growing shorter and the nights are growing longer, as the temperatures are cooling, we gather inside, sometimes around a fire, maybe once the rain starts. As the work of the harvest is finished, we can be reminded of those who are no longer with us. Things become a little more quiet. To think about and talk about family and friends and pets who have died. From Korea to Mexico and all over the world, people build altars in memory of their relatives who have died, whether recently or long ago. And on altars like this one that we have, they'll put pictures and treasures like jewelry or special objects, or an accordion. candles and lots of flowers and food. Because really, nothing says welcome like a plate of yummy food. And we are going to make a plate this morning called a spirit plate and put it on our altar as an invitation and an offering to the memory of our ancestors who we're thinking of today. But I also want to talk about the flowers we have on the altar. They're called marigolds, and they've come from local farms and friends' gardens. These flowers have been used in rituals and remembrances in many cultures throughout the world. They're used in Hindu weddings. They're used at Buddhist temples. They're used as an offering for the Virgin Mary in Christian churches. That's why their name is marigolds. In what is now Mexico, in the ancient Aztec culture, the marigold was viewed as sacred. And that has been incorporated into the modern Day of the Dead celebrations. Flowers are bright and beautiful, but they don't last very long. So you have to enjoy them while they're here. And that can be a metaphor for life. The bright colors and spicy fragrance of the marigolds are thought to attract the souls of the dead to the ofrendas, the altars prepared for them. So let's make the spirit plate. Are there any children who'd like to come help me make a spirit plate for the ancestors? Come on down. We have all kinds of yummy foods to choose from. All right, we're going to put some foods on here. What do you think we got? What would you choose? An apple? Okay. How about you, Corbin? What would you choose? Chocolate. Ooh, I think they would like, what do you think? Would we we'll make a little room. What do you think? Some potatoes, tomatoes, clementine, a pepper, some grapes, and a carrot. Oh, and like a cookie. So many things can fit on this plate. Rice. Did you guys do this at school? A little bit of rice. All right. Last but not least.
And an orange.
And an orange. All right. I think it's holding about as much as it can hold. Shall we put it on the altar?
Yeah.
Right there. I think those ancestors are going to feel really welcome. Thank you for making our celebration more welcoming and beautiful and delicious. We're going to send you up with some of the light from our chalice and some marigolds for you to use on the altar that you guys make upstairs. Good morning. Here we are on this last Sunday morning in October, this special time of year, turning inward time of transition from fall to winter. My name is Lindsay Dunckel,
And I'm Carol Nimick, and we're the worship associates for this morning.
and we're delighted to welcome those of you in the room and those on Zoom to the Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains.
The ritual of welcoming and honoring ancestors is an ancient spiritual practice found in many cultures and traditions. As we round out this month's theme of deep listening, we turn our attention to the great beyond. This morning we'll be paying tribute and expressing gratitude to our many ancestors.
I am Lindsay, daughter of Jeanette and Peter,
And I am Carol, the daughter of June and David,
granddaughter of Jeanette, Jackson, Margaret, and Wallace,
granddaughter of Mary, Frances, Howard, and Francis,
great-granddaughter of Maud, George, Edith, Parker, Effie, Howard, Amelia, and Walter,
great-granddaughter of Mary, Charles, Eleanor, Frank, June, Andy, Kitty, and Paul.
and so on and so on. Ancestors all. Whether names are remembered or forgotten to history, we carry them with us in ways we do not even fully know.
From our histories, our ancestors call to us, asking to be remembered, asking for forgiveness, perhaps. We are grateful for their gifts, their lessons, and their challenges, calling us into accountability and responsibility to fulfill their hopes and aspirations, or to gently correct or redirect them, while offering a quiet, supportive foundation as we strive to reach goals unimagined in their time.
We begin by calling on those ancestors who were present in this area long before any European Americans, and whose land was never yielded to the colonizers. The first people, the Nisenan. With a basket of black oak acorns, we express our heartfelt desire that their descendants, who are living here still, recover more and more of their rich cultural heritage through federal recognition, and be seen in all the ways they wish to be seen. Ancestors, be with us.
Ancestors, be with us.
It's already up.
We call on the early Unitarians and Universalists, both lay people and ordained ministers, who brought our faith tradition from its American roots in New England all the way to Nevada County, California. Ancestors, be with us.
Ancestors, be with us. We call on the ancestors of the Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains, who built, grew, and dreamed this church and this community into being, some of whom are in this room, and several of whose names adorn the memorial tree at the back of the sanctuary. Ancestors, be with us.
We call upon our activist ancestors, some who lost their lives in the struggle for justice, freedom, and liberation of all people, who challenge us to honor the fullness of each and every human being. Ancestors, be with us.
Ancestors, be with us. We especially lift up those ancestors who experienced racism and oppression right here in Nevada County, Gold Country, and those who sought to right the wrongs. They call on us to build a world where the inherent worth and dignity of each and every person is truly realized. Ancestors, be with us.
Lastly, we call upon and invoke our own individual family, ancestors, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, our siblings, as well as extended family members and mentors, guides, friends, lovers from across time and place to be with us. Each one of us brings into this space our own network of beloved dead. Ancestors, be with us.
Ancestors, be with us.
We lift up and call upon those ancestors, those members of this congregation who died in this past year. Doug Roderick. Barbara Hoyt. Pete Saby. And Patricia Berry. Ancestors, be with us. Ancestors, be with us.
If you have someone you'd like to include on our altar today, I invite you to come forward. If you brought a photo or a memento, please place that on the altar, and Carol and I can help if needed. And whether you have brought a memento or not, you may choose to place a votive candle and to speak the name of the person you're remembering. Please come forward down the center aisle and return to your seats down the side aisles. And please ask a neighbor if you'd like someone to place your item for you. We do this every year, and every year it is so moving. If you'd like a chance to speak a name or names of those that you're remembering and carrying with you today, I invite you to speak their name as I gesture to your row as I walk down. And for those on Zoom, please type the name or names into the chat, and Reverend Kevin will speak them into the room.
Robert Schultz Sr. and Robert Schultz Jr.
Larry, Dorothy, Woody, Randy, Sharon, Jenny, Nova, Gordon, Lucy, David, Rand, Stephen,
Suki, Mom, Dad.
Cynthia.
Jenny, Ward, Mary,
Mary and Martha.
Otto and Vi.
Jonah, Carl Humbert, and Alexander Burton, and Jim Burton. Jeff Schwartz.
Eleanor Shockley Gordon,
Logan Sheehan.
Wally, Frida, Jean,
Bobby. Philip.
Bob and Doris Bristol.
Gabriel Cole. Kelly McDonald. Don Damaris. Ken. Ron.
Beverly, Robert, Braden, Jim Patton.
Elaine, Catherine, Medina, Eileen, Caroline, Victoria, Miles, Ralph, Emily, Robert, Red, and John Lunsford, Marcus Castellas, James Allen Bowers, and John Bowers. John, Sarah,
Mother, Daddy, Big Brother, Granny.
Greg and Colleen, my friend Tom, my doggie Roxton, my father Charles D. Champlin III, from number 4, Leslie's parents Bill and Ava Randall, remembering and missing Lulu, our beloved Australian cattle dog, my dear friend Al Weitzel, Donna, Terry, Stephanie, May Lawrence, Leo and Diana Weilman, William Comerford, Peter Citrullo, Jerry Lawrence, Leo Winters, Georgia, Jack Lyons, Tom Davison, Bill Davison, Justin Davison, father, uncle, cousin, Terry Smalley, Karen, John Slade, Deborah Alftenspring, Judy Duncan, my aunt, my friend Chris Kugler, my mother Sina Watson, and my dogs Nicone, Kaya, and Wolfie Girl. Dick Wagner.
As we have done for the last several years at this time of year, we will enter into 2 rituals of remembrance this morning. For the first ritual today, we're going to be doing some writing. I'll explain more while the greeters come forward with baskets to facilitate everybody getting a piece of paper and a pencil if you need it when it comes to you. As that's happening, I'd like to share with you part of a blessing Beth Caro used to say before each service during COVID times. I think it fits well here. It begins, "May all the words that need to be spoken be heard. May all the words that need to be heard be spoken." So, I invite you now to think about someone who is no longer here with us. Someone to whom you might have something you would like to say, or maybe not like to say, but rather need to say. Maybe it's something you didn't feel comfortable or safe to say while they were living. Maybe it's a realization you had after they passed. Maybe they passed unexpectedly, before you had a chance to speak those words. I think you understand where I'm going with this, but I would especially like to encourage you to summon your own courage to bring forth those words, words that are perhaps really hard, words that for whatever the reasons you could not speak while they were alive. Go ahead and write what you can. Maybe you'll not have time or space on the paper to write everything, but make a mark or jot down a word or two or a phrase that means something to you. This is only for you to see. You and whoever it is that you're writing to. Remember, we're using the word ancestor to extend beyond family lineage, whoever you're carrying in your heart today. This is special dissolving paper. And when you're finished, I invite you to bring them up to this beautiful bowl, and I'll be stirring it, and they'll dissolve into the water. And later today, I'll pour this water and all of your words onto our thirsty plants, where we can imagine it gently seeping down, flowing where it needs to go, saying what needs to be said.
Next is a ritual of remembrance that comes from Hawaii. It is called Ho'oponopono, and it's an ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. Ho'o means to cause or to make, and pono means right, proper, or perfect. So put together, Ho'oponopono means setting things right, or to put things in order and in balance. The practice is simple, but powerful, and it can be done alone, or one-on-one, or even in a group. It can be done silently, but some say that speaking the words out loud gives them more power. Many people begin and end their day with Ho'oponopono practice. There are 4 steps, and you can do them in any order. You can think of Ho'oponopono as a circular mantra, and you can begin at any point of the circle. We'll start with what might be the hardest part. First, repentance. I'm sorry. Just 2 little words that hold so much weight. This isn't an admission of guilt or a fault or an invitation to assign and to take blame. It's only stating a feeling of remorse for the situation. I'm sorry. Next, asking for forgiveness. Please forgive me. It's really important to note that true forgiveness doesn't mean doesn't mean forgetting. It means making space to acknowledge that that problem exists. An Hawaiian elder, historian, educator, activist said, "It's much bigger to forgive than to carry the burden of shame and blame. And then to move on from that point, because only by forgiving and moving on, you reach a higher point. Please forgive me. Then, the third, love. The greatest power we can tap into. We're all steeped in it. And the more we share love, the more we feel it. I love you. Finally, gratitude. Thank you. Costs so little, means so much, changes everything. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. For this brief introduction to the wonderful practice of Ho'oponopono, we'll go through it 6 times together, calling to mind with each one a different situation, various people and places in our lives, which may be profoundly helpful. Please speak these words with me and feel free to close your eyes as you visualize the following situations. First, we'll start with ourselves. Our relationship with ourselves is often the one that is most fraught with conflict. When we heal ourselves, we help heal the world. Let's speak Ho'oponopono to ourselves. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Next, please visualize someone in your close circle, your family, your friends, the people you interact with regularly, the people with whom you might take some not so nice shortcuts with. Let's speak Ho'oponopono to someone close. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Now, please visualize an ancestor. This could be someone who you know, who left this plane without the opportunity to reconcile your relationship. Or it can be someone in your far distant past that you just want to connect with now. Let's speak Ho'oponopono to an ancestor. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Next, we'll speak to our community. Someone either in this community of ours here at UUCM or beyond. Someone with whom you feel out of balance. Please bring that person up into your heart and your mind's eye. And let's speak Ho'oponopono with someone in our community. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Next, the planet Earth. We could do this one repeatedly all day, every day. Ho'oponopono for the Earth. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And finally, we return to ourselves. This time, though, I invite you to say this to yourself as if it were coming from someone else. Someone else is speaking it to you. Someone you need to hear from this from. Take a minute to think of this person and visualize them near you saying Ho'opono to you, to ourselves from someone else. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. May all the words that need to be spoken be heard. May all the words that need to be heard be spoken. Amen, and blessed be.
A Litany of Wholeheartedness by Don Cooley. We recognize that our ancestors have gifted us in many ways. We also recognize that any of these gifts that do not serve us, we can bless and release. In that spirit, let us give voice to these truths together with a spoken call and your spoken response. The words will be on the screen. Because there have been times when shame has crushed our ability to be wholehearted, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we have not always had the courage to be imperfect, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we have struggled to have compassion for ourselves or others, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we have been afraid of our own vulnerability, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we are sometimes too scared to live authentically, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are. Because we want to be wholehearted people, confident in our worthiness and our belonging, we let go of who we ought to be and embrace who we are.
As we care and remember our local ancestors, we also care for the land that supported them and consequently is supporting us. The Bear Yuba Land Trust is dedicated to preserving and protecting this land, the natural, working, and cultural lands in both the Bear River and the Yuba River watersheds. Each month, 50% of our Sunday donations go to a local nonprofit that shares our values. And for October, this organization is the Bear Yuba Land Trust. Sharing our resources supports our value to build community. This slide will give other ways to give. And the ushers come forward. thank you for your giving. We dedicate these offerings to recognizing the land that supported our ancestors and to acknowledging the work of the Bear Yuba Land Trust that is dedicated to preserving it.
Thank you to all the legions of people that help out in putting together a Sunday morning here. Thanks, Joyce, for your reading. And thanks to Reverend Kevin for filling in all the little places and tying everything together. Thank you to our stellar AV team, Paul and Cypress and Eileen as chat host. Carol and I had a lot of fun creating this altar for you. It was great fun working with you, Carol, on this service. And to our greeters, Carl and Laura, and Lori's back there somewhere. Thank you, Corey, for being here in lay pastoral care with your lay pastoral care hat on. Thanks to Katz and Laura for refreshments, and to Shannon Dooley Miller and Cheryl Spalding for being with our young people upstairs. Next Sunday, November 3rd, we have UU 101, a way to get introduced to both this place and Unitarian Universalism. Anyone's welcome to stop by. And next Saturday night, our very own Randy McKeon, who may or may not sleep in the same bed I do, will be playing duets with his twin brother, whom we're flying in from Portland. So this has not happened since they were about 10 years old, I think, that they played a concert together. They've played together, but not for other people. So please join us for this fundraiser. Doors open at 6. Come early, have some refreshments, chat, and then be ready for a 7 o'clock start. On November 16th, we are hosting and co-sponsoring with Nevada County Pride and Color Me Human a Transgender Day of Remembrance service. A very moving opportunity. And as always, you can learn more on our website. All kinds of treasures there. Our closing words and song are woven together this morning. Winter, we remember them. We will remember you. In the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. We will remember you. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. We will remember you. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. We will remember you. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. We will remember you. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. We will remember you. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. We will remember you. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them.
for they are now a part of us, and we remember them.
May the spirits of those who have passed continue to sustain us as we carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. For those in the building, please join us at the back for refreshments, and we will see you next Sunday for this Wednesday to build an ark.
With the time change.
Oh yes, with the time change next Saturday night, Sunday morning.